Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Friday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Brazil. Brazil's ABIN spy agency was used to illegally monitor tax auditors who were investigating a son of former President Jair Bolsonaro in an attempt to disrupt the corruption probe, Supreme Court documents unsealed on Thursday showed. The details unveiled on Thursday could add to Bolsonaro's mounting legal woes. The far-right former president has already been ruled politically ineligible until 2030 for his conduct during the 2022 presidential election. So far, he has been formally accused by police in two different cases, one including misappropriating jewelry he received while head of state, and the other related to forging his COVID-19 vaccine records. Brazilian police carried out search and seizure raids and a handful of pre-trial arrests on Thursday regarding an ongoing into ABIN, which has been accused of conducting illegal surveillance on Supreme Court justices, journalists, and lawmakers during Bolsonaro's presidency. ABIN was used to illegally spy on tax auditors investigating Flavio Bolsonaro with the intention of digging up some dirt on them that could hamper a corruption probe when he was in Rio de Janeiro councilman, according to the decision that approved Thursday raids. In a statement, Flavio Bolsonaro, the former president's eldest son, who is now a senator, denied any wrongdoing and said the details of the investigation were released to harm former ABIN head Alexandre Ramagem's intentions to run for Rio de Janeiro mayor in this year's elections. While in Cuba is tightening regulations on fledgling private businesses, reining in profits and beefing up oversight as the government wrestles with how best to manage fast-growing private enterprise in the communist-run country. Cuban authorities 2 years ago lifted a ban on private companies in place since early in former leader Fidel Castro's 1959 revolution. But the government now says some of those businesses have gotten out of hand, contributing to snowballing inflation and economic crisis. Cuba's Council of Ministers, the highest administrative body on the island, held an extraordinary session this week during which it proposed 6 decrees aimed at quote-unquote bringing order to the country's growing private sector, state-run media reported late on Wednesday. One of those proposals will create a new quote-unquote national institute to oversee non-state businesses, the report in Cuba's Granma newspaper said. A spate of new regulations and enforcement actions, however, signal growing tensions between privately held businesses and state-run companies that have long held monopolies across the economy. Earlier this week, the Ministry of Finance and Pricing capped prices on 6 key goods imported by private businesses: chicken, vegetable oil, powdered milk, laundry detergent, pasta, and sausages in a bid to slow soaring inflation. A government resolution issued Monday also capped profits on those goods at 30%. A move officials said was necessary to contain prices, but which some outside economists believe could lead businesses unhappy with such limits to stop selling those products. Authorities on Wednesday conducted 1,079 on-site inspections countrywide to enforce the new caps and said 393 companies on 36% were in violation of regulations. Tax authorities separately said they had shuttered 15 private businesses for accounting irregularities and had identified 600 more suspected of possible fiscal evasion. Private enterprise has boomed in Cuba in the last 2 years, with more than 11,000 businesses now selling food and household products, as well as providing construction and tourism services. Such businesses have proved a lifeline for some, as government rations and subsidized goods have become scarce. Although high prices keep them off limits, for most Cubans, the island's economy has been hard hit by factors including the pandemic, U.S. sanctions, and an inefficient state-dominated model plagued by bureaucracy and corruption. Now for some international news. The United States on Thursday placed sanctions on Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan gang that began in prison and has spread throughout Latin America. The group was designated as a transnational criminal organization for activities including human smuggling, gender-based violence, money laundering, and drug trafficking, the Treasury Department said. Quote, "We will deploy all tools and authorities against organizations like Tren de Aragua that prey on vulnerable populations to generate revenue, engage in a range of criminal activities across borders, and abuse the U.S. financial system," unquote, the U.S. Treasury's Brian Nelson said in a statement, citing an escalating threat posed by the organization. According to the statement, the U.S. State Department is offering up to $12 million in rewards for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Tren de Aragua leaders. Tren de Aragua has been blamed for a surge in crime in the Americas. Chile's prosecutor's office has said the gang was responsible for the February kidnap and murder of Venezuelan opposition figure in Santiago. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Until next time.